Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. I am still getting ready for the Potomac River. I know that could be a shock to some of you, but in reality, we've generally got 2 to 4 weeks between events, and there's not a day that goes by where I'm not thinking about that upcoming tournament. And in this case, it's the Potomac River. And the Potomac River is a shallow water fishery. It's a tidal fishery. The majority of the bass are probably going to be caught in 6 feet of water or less. And one of the baits that I think could be really good is a square bill crankbait or shallow running crankbait. We're fishing a lot of rock, a lot of isolated rock. There'll be a lot of laydowns. There'll be some grass that you can fish, maybe some docks. And a square bill or shallow running crankbait is a great way to go about it. But I think one thing that could really work there is not just a shallow running crank, but a silent shallow running crankbait. I feel like when we go to fisheries like the Potomac River that are in a major populated area, generally the pressure on these fisheries is pretty outrageous. They have weekend tournaments, both Saturday and Sunday, and then generally speaking, you're going to have probably like a Tuesday nighter or Wednesday nighter. So there's multiple tournaments going on. Then you've just got a ton of people in that area that like to fish. So the fish are very pressured and very accustomed to a lot of the baits that are the most popular. And crankbaits are very popular baits. But having said that, there are not that many silent crankbaits out there. Most crankbaits come with some form of rattle system or some form of uh, weight system that tries to enhance casting distance. And generally, what that means is you've got a sliding tungsten weight or a weight in the body that still generally creates some sound. But some companies have mastered the ability to create a silent running crankbait. Now, I do want to just mention that I don't truly believe any crankbait is 100% silent because you still have hooks that are rattling around as you're retrieving it. So they are 100% creating some noise and sound. But the reality is that light dinging of hooks is nothing compared to a crankbait that has a pile of rattles in it. Think about when you're throwing a really loud rattling crankbait or a lipless crankbait. There's times you can hear the vibration of those rattles off of your boat, like it echoes that much louder. You generally don't ever have that with a silent running crankbait just from the hooks that are going back and forth. But I do really feel like on the Potomac River, a silent crankbait could be a game changer for me. So I went out and ordered a bunch to back up the ones that I have because I do have a good amount of them. But I got to say there were certain colors that I really wanted to get and certain baits that I've had a lot of success with recently that I didn't feel like I had enough of. So I ordered a bunch. Obviously, that's got a lot of different baits in it. And some of those baits are really geared specifically towards the Potomac River. Other ones are going to be geared more towards fishing back home here, like on the river. One of the ones that I definitely went out and got that I saw that I found. Well, let's just point out there's three that I really like before I get into some of the colors. The first one that I've had a lot of success with recently on the river. Now, I've never thrown it at the Potomac, but I have had a lot of success here. I started using it in the fall last year, and that's just this guy right here. This is the Rapala Slim 6. It's a Octafo. It's part of the OG series. I've had really good success on it. The smallmouth seem to eat it great, and I think because of the way it runs and it deflects really well, that could be a good player off of a lot of cover there. Another one that I've had ton of success with that we've talked about on the channel multiple times is the Berkeley Fritz side. Now this I'll have probably tied on in two sizes. I'll probably have a size 7, which is this is a little bit smaller. This is the size 9, but I'll probably have a 7, and I'll probably put I'm gonna say the junior 5 size, which is a really small little bait that'll be more to fish in that finesse mode type thing. But the Fritz side is an absolute unbelievable silent crank. And then the last one is this your Lucky Craft LC series square bill. These are generally very, very well respected in the angling community. They've been around for a long time, and I've been using them for a long time and caught a bunch of fish. And they've got a couple of really cool colors, one of which that I bought specifically for the Potomac River is this guy right here. This is Magic Blue Craw, and since I just got it, never used it before, I don't know if it's going to work, but generally speaking, on the Potomac River, we're talking about a fishery that has blue crab in it, so the color blue is one that plays a pretty big role there. And when I saw this, I was like, that looks pretty good from a blue craw standpoint. And I didn't even notice it when I ordered it, but the lip is orange, so it's got an orange hue, which I kind of really like too, because a lot of the crabs, a lot of the crayfish actually have some orange built into that blue craw color as well. So I really like that. I got that one. I got this one as well. This is the, what color is this? Peacock, Magma Peacock. And the funny thing is, the reason I got this isn't because of bluegill. I didn't really think that that mimics a bluegill, even though I could see how you do it. But if you know anything about the Potomac River, there's a lot of snakehead in there. And I really thought when I saw this that this could do a good job at mimicking snakehead, because they kind of have that dot on it and they kind of have a little bit of that snake look like that. So I got those two specifically. Ordered a bunch more Fritz sides, got a couple more OG Slims of the Slim series, and I think they're going to be a player. You know, crankbaits are something that generally get better quality bites. And the Potomac River is one of these places where we go where catching a limit is generally not the tough part, but catching a limit that is slightly bigger than everybody else's limit is, meaning there's going to be a lot of bags that are weighed in 5-fish limits between 11 and 13 pounds. But if you can break that 13-pound mark for 2 days in a row, you're probably going to be in pretty good position in terms of doing well in the tournament. So I'm not really worried about catching fish. I think there's a lot of baits that do a good job at catching fish there. You know, whether you're talking about like wacky rigged soft stick baits, a lot of different worms, a lot of different like swim jig type baits, but you're gonna have to get a couple better bites each day. And I do feel like throwing a crankbait could be really good. I think throwing vibrating jigs could be a good way to do it. But we're looking for 15 pounds a day, and a crankbait's a good way to do it. So I personally feel like anytime you're fishing very pressured fish, going with silent baits, as long as you're not really in dirty, muddy conditions, going with silent baits is a good way to increase the number of bites that you're getting. And on the Potomac River, I fully expect the silent baits to outperform some of those that rattle quite loudly. So I'd love to know what your thought is. Do you think silent baits can outproduce rattling baits? Do you think it's a better thing for fishing pressured water? Do you think it's only a clear water thing? Do you think it doesn't matter? Put it in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, I'm going to get to rigging some of these on my rod so that I've got them ready to go with the Potomac. Hopefully, one of them might pan out with the winning fish. We'll have to wait and see. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoy the videos, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and stay tuned. New video coming out tomorrow.